Hello YouTubers, this is MarathonVlogger letting you know, yesterday I finished watching Zack and Miri make a porno, well, 2 days ago. Zack and Miri make a porno is actually a good movie. It's the first movie Kevin Smith has actually done without, any formal reference to Clerks. Unlike before when he had Dogma and, Jane and Silent Bob Strike Back, Mallrats. Mallrats is actually, there's actually the timeline. There's Clerks, and let's see, uh, Mallrats, and then Jane and Silent Bob Strike Back, then Chasing Amy, and then Dogma is sort of the whole timeline inside. Anyway, this is actually a really good movie, in a way, because how you can see, this is the first time Kevin Smith shows boobs on, movie screen, for more than 5 seconds, because there was more than 10 minutes of it, because there was in Mallrats they had the three-nippled gypsy chick, and I know, I'm a 15-year-old, shouldn't be watching this, but I love entertainment and I love Kevin Smith movies. Anyway, there was a three-nippled gypsy, and then there was that high-pitched voice chick uh, from Mallrats and Chasing Amy, and she was she was actually on Mallrats as that when Silent Bob made his mistake and hit his head through the window, through the door, and then when that chick was changing, you know, into her shirt, she flashed her boobs. So anyway, aside from that, Zack and Miri make a porno. Now, first of all, if you haven't seen the title, well, up there, you wouldn't, you would know. So this is a movie with, Seth Rogen and everyone, but this is actually a movie where Kevin Smith brought, some of his characters he had in movies in before. There's Jason Lee. He was beardless, in the, high school reunion scene just before, and it was just a quick scene. And then they had the guy who plays Randall from Clerks, and as the guy who films, the porno, and they had Jason Mewes, which is actually in this movie is the first time you actually see Jason Mewes, down there. Let's see. When I was actually watching Zack and Miri make porno, I wasn't thinking much of it, except it was another Kevin Smith movie. But, later actually, in the middle of the movie, where there was more of the romance between Zack and Miri, Seth Rogen actually still had his curly hair and everything, but shaved, and he was pulling off that John C. Reilly and Jack Black look from a from above. In those sad scenes, you saw him sort of as Jack Black. Now um, when he was making out with Miri in his little scene, he was pulling off the John C. Reilly hair and then the Jack Black look. And when he was actually in, what was it? It was in, I forgot. It was in, jeez, I can't remember the name. It was, oh, yeah. Um, pl Please rewind, or remember rewind. Oh, Be Kind Rewind. Jack Black. I actually loved Be Kind Rewind because that actually gave me a lesson of how to do some special effects in some of my movies I would do. Anyway, the whole movie starts off where Zack and Miri are in their tight situation with money and everything, and when Miri is, taking her shower, the water stops, and then Zack has to get water from the toilet, and he thought it was from the front of the toilet. It was actually the back of the toilet. So anyway, then the place turns off their power and everything, and the city turns off their power because they couldn't pay the bill. And well, before anything else, I gotta say Justin Long made a cameo as a gay porn producer and everything, and that was funny. Justin Long, from um, Herbie Fully Loaded and everything, and all those other good movies. He was also, that was actually pretty funny to know. So anyway, they say, why don't they talk about ways to make money, and Zack throws out the idea of how to make porn. I mean making porn, and then they have their idea of making a Star Wars series for the porn, like with Leia and everything. So that's actually the millionth time Kevin Smith made a Star Wars reference. The other time was when on the animated series of Clerks, on the first movie of Clerks, they talked about how, they had their speech about, all the people who died in the Death Star of it. And let's see. In Chasing Amy, there were several, parts of it in the movie with the Star Wars, just like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, where Jason Mewes was fighting Mark Hamill, and as Gog Knocker versus Bluntman, and with their little lightsabers. And it's been doing that kind of the same thing, but Kevin Smith actually did this a little more unique. So then their little studio is actually destroyed because some old man didn't pay the rent or sold the house originally. So all their supplies is ruined. And then they come up with, but they actually do work in a nice coffee shop, so Zach comes up with the idea, make a porno in the coffee shop at night, without the manager knowing. And yeah, that's really how it goes on. And then Zack and Miri fall in love while they're getting intimate. Actually, Zack and Miri actually had a relationship in, ever since our first grade, and they explained that. But the thing that got to me was, it's creepy in a way. And so anyway, after them wanting to throw a party because their porn is almost finished, they Zack Zack leads Miri on that he made out with some chick because she asked and everything. This is just a whole affair thing because Miri said okay, and it's kind of like the Cosby Show moment where yes means no, no means yes for a chick. Now that's really the same thing in real life too. So the movie goes on where Zack is, and no one knows where Zack or Miri is, everything, and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. Zack and Miri meet up again, and they're in the end, and they're back in the apartment, and this is when Jason Mewes or Lester walks out of out of Miri's room, and Miri's in Zack's room, and no one knows. But he walks out of the room, and this is actually the first time ever we see Jason Mewes' penis on screen. And in time, we one new way of masturbation. See the Dutch runner where you jack it up and then have someone move your arm. Anyway, see, I learned stuff from movies. It's simple. So, anyway, Zack and Miri have their relationship and everything, and then shoot the last scene for the porno, and they make a lot of money. So, yeah. Oh, it's even funnier because the guy who played Randall, I completely forgot his name, who was filming the porn in the first place, was actually shat on by some chick. It's like, oh. So that's when he got petrified of anyone saying shit covered. So anyway, I had to just give my quick preview of it. It was actually a 1.5 hour movie, and there was nothing much except for sex and sex jokes and everything. And I can explain more in my next review. I just had to squeeze everything else and squeeze everything else in this review. Signora Verde nacho cheese. More product placement. Oh. Tastes like Doritos. Check out my next review.